Welcome aboard the cosmic journey that is the Spirituality with Ashley podcast, where we dive deep into the mystical realms of metaphysics and spirituality. I'm your host, Ashley, a certified Akashic Records reader and energy healer and trained psychic medium. You're in the right place if you're ready to expand your consciousness and unlock the wisdom and insights that light up our path of self-discovery and growth. Come along with me on this journey of exploration where the universe speaks and we listen with open hearts. Let's dive in. Today we have a special episode in the Soul Stories mini-series lined up for you. Whether you've been listening since the beginning or are new to our community, I'm so happy that you're here. As many of you know, I'm really passionate about sharing knowledge, education, and inspiration through the incredible world of spirituality and metaphysics. From Akashic Records readings to psychic insights and emotion code healing sessions, my goal is to open up these transformative experiences to as many people as possible. Today, I'm super excited to welcome a very special guest, my friend and former client and Reiki instructor, who has graciously agreed to share her spiritual journey with us. Her name is Sam. Sam has experienced some impactful transformations through Akashic Records readings that we've had. I think we've had one, actually, and some emotion code sessions. And I think her story will really resonate with many of you. In this episode, we'll dive into Sam's personal journey, exploring the pivotal moments that led her to seek spiritual guidance. We will hear about her experiences with her Akashic Records reading that created huge shifts for her and sent her on this new path. And we will also discuss her experience doing some emotion code sessions with me. And we'll go over the impact that these practices have had on her life. So get comfortable, open your heart, and let's embark on this inspiring journey together. Without further ado, let's welcome Sam to the show. Hello. So I already did my intro. I'm so not used to it because I just pre-recorded it. So I'm probably going to be a bit weird because I'm not doing my intro. But today we have a new special kind of episode. I'm so excited about this. I'm going to do a mini series where I'm introducing some previous clients and who are honestly now friends. Today I have Sam here with me, a very close friend who has also been a client. She's done some readings with me. And so I wanted to bring on some people who have had readings with me who are willing to talk about their experience to help others to understand what you can potentially gain or learn from exploring that avenue of guidance and information. And there are all kinds of ways that you can do that. And so today I'm going to ask Sam some questions about her journey, what made her even want to get a reading, what like resonated with her about my energy that made her feel comfortable with me, because you can get these readings with anybody. And it's always so important for you to get readings with people that you resonate with, people whose energy works with your energy. Because like I said, there are so many people who offer Akashic Records readings and psychic readings and channeled messages and all of the things. So I'm also going to be asking Sam about how her life has changed, how she's grown after these readings that she's gotten. And so I have Sam with me here beside me. And so we're going to go ahead and get into this episode. So I'd like to formally introduce Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Ashley. It's great to be here with you today.
It's great to have you here. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. We've been just kind of casually hanging out today and catching up.
Yes.
And we can't always get together when we want to. So we just kind of wait for that opening and go in and get lost. And then hours later,
Yes.
we're looking up. It's dark outside. And so
Yes.
here we are.
Yes, the connection always feels so good. She has such great energy. I'm sure you guys can feel it just listening to her voice. She just is a magical person. Love her. I love you so much.
I love you so much.
Okay, so, and by the way, I'm just going to put this out there. She's not biased because we are good friends. I think part of our bonding came through the readings because we were connected on this other level and ended up just learning all of these things about each other. And it just, another thing I'm going to ask her about is like the way that she got activated, because readings can be very activating for the person getting the reading and for the person giving the reading. Honestly, I've gone through a lot in this evolution of giving readings. And Sam has kind of witnessed that journey from beginning to where I'm at now, which is really cool. So she has a very particular viewpoint that I'm really interested in sharing and hearing about myself, honestly, because I haven't ever asked her these questions. So this is going to be brand new for everybody. All right. So Sam,
Yes, Ashley.
can you give me a brief synopsis of like your spiritual journey? Like if you could put it on the back of your life novel,
So
what would that
rather
look like?
than, making it too long today, the best thing I can say is I went through a dark night of the soul. I went through some challenges with my health, with
Yeah.
life, and even what I would call is an identity crisis. I
Yeah.
was starting to have these new layers of myself that I really didn't understand logically come online. I was starting to experience just being more sensitive, like
Yeah.
to sounds and smells and just all of the, emotions of the people around me. And so I started to delve into that a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And after a very, very dark night of the soul and being in bed for a few days and really just coming out of that, felt like I had just gone through a death.
Oh,
It
wow.
was, but then the coming out was kind of like the rising of the phoenix and
Yes.
being reborn. I did go through that several more times. Started doing yoga, started,
Yes.
meditating, delving into all things, like all the modalities, just
Yeah.
looking here, looking at supplements, looking at my diet, drinking all the great water and incorporating spring waters and minerals and
Yep.
just all of the things, how it goes. And as that happens, you naturally start to have more discernment.
Yeah.
And so then you really start to get the answers. They start to come through you, and you're no longer looking outside yourself, and just starts to come in pretty natural.
Yes. I love that. That was such a well put explanation. Like that was a wonderful way to, I don't know, like package that all up into like a really nice
We've joked about
there's
doing a whole series on this.
there's so much that goes into it. Like every single thing you mentioned, it could be its own series of episodes. Like
Yes.
the dark night of the soul and just feeling crazy and like you have no idea what's going on. You don't know who you are, even though you're actually coming back to who you really are. And it's just so new because it's your first time meeting your true self and letting go of that part of you that you thought you were for so long. The nutritional component where you start being more discerning about what you're putting into your body and actually tuning into how it's making you feel, like being able to pick up energies around you and then actually starting to pay attention to how that makes you feel and where are those energies coming from and what does it mean and how do you separate those energies from your own energy. And like Sam is amazing. She's done so much stuff. She's so experienced. So it's so cool to hear about her journey. You'll definitely be coming back for another episode
Oh, I
because
can't wait.
you have so much knowledge to share. It's so cool. She has amazing stories. So thank you. That was a beautiful,
Thank you.
beautiful summary. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
So you've had an Akashic Records reading with me, and then we did an emotion code session, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We did the Akashic, and then we did an emotion code in person,
Yes.
and we did one long distance.
Oh, true. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done Reiki on you, and you've done Reiki on me.
Yes.
Okay. Because I think one of the first times that I connected with your energy was when I was doing Reiki on you, and I just got all these downloads about your galactic origins. And then I was like, I'm scared to tell her about this because that was still like in the beginning of my journey with channeling. And so I was like, do I tell her like the stuff that's coming through? And I told her, and she was like, "Oh my God, yes, you're tying together all of these like loose ends that made no sense." Oh, it was so cool. Okay, so with that being said, what what was it that made you want to get an Akashic Records reading with me when I brought it up and I was like, "Hey, Akashic Records."
Well, first of all, as soon as we met, it was like, that's my soul sister. It
Yes.
was just, we were feeding each other. I noticed anytime we interacted, it's like we always fed each other. I
Yes.
always felt even better and more rejuvenated
Yeah.
when we'd come together. And we would get together what seemed like we were literally like downloading code from each
Oh my
other.
gosh. Yeah. Activating each other.
So yeah, and so after that, and I found out you were starting to do the Akashic readings, and I just knew I can always come as myself with you, like
Oh,
as
yeah.
raw and naked,
Yes, ma'am.
and
Here for
without
it.
the judgment, so
Yeah.
I could show up as I am, on all levels with you. I watched your journey, like it was so quick.
It
Like
was
you
fast.
just decided
Yeah.
this one decision, which led to all of these others, and it was like
Yeah.
dominoes.
Yes, I was just picturing that.
I was
So
as
funny.
well. And so I was just so impressed with that, and to see you just being so true to your journey, and like
Oh,
you
thank
were
you.
determined to like,
Yeah, man.
yeah, I'm in now,
Doing
and
it.
this is a lifestyle. This is
Yes.
becoming a lifestyle. This is over here, and this is my physical. But I saw you bringing all those together, and I just knew you were badass. I
Oh,
did.
shucks.
No, I did, and I was like, yes, I want an Akashic reading from her.
Oh, I feel like you saw that in me before I ever even had an inkling of like seeing it in myself. So thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
I think
that.
so too, because even in the beginnings with when we first met with Reiki and some things that we had going on, which seems like years ago,
It does,
but it
man.
wasn't.
No, not
It
even
was
a year
1 year.
ago. I don't
Oh my gosh. So there's been this whole like it's just
Wild.
it's wild. Yes,
Yeah.
it's hard when we're on these journeys. It's very you get to the point where it's harder to describe in a
Yeah.
linear fashion
Yes.
or a logical fashion
Yeah.
these experiences. But I just like I said, I knew I could trust you. I knew you were a powerful healer. And I was ready for that Akashic reading,
Mm,
for more clarity on my own journey. And something that you saw in me is that there were still some barriers of confidence that I was pushing through. And
yeah.
so the Akashic reading was right on time for opening up that next chapter for me.
I love that. I feel like so sometimes I feel like what can happen when you're getting a deeper reading like Akashic Records readings, it's almost like you go in looking for guidance and then you end up feeling seen because so much of like your story comes through and
Yes.
just things that you know are you, but you haven't fully like brought to the forefront yet or began
Yeah.
experiencing. And then like it just opens, it can open things up in this
Because
way.
it's the more galactic. A
Yeah.
lot of what's coming through. I mean, it's this lifetime as well, but you start to get these bits and pieces of yourself, and then
Yes.
that sort of brings on these rememberings, and then it
Yes.
opens up
Exactly.
another. So it's just continuing to open up that surrendering and that trust, the
Yes.
trust in your own abilities. So
Yes.
my Akashic reading really brought in this next layer of trust for me.
I
And
love that.
so,
What would you say is your biggest like takeaway from your Akashic reading? Like, did you have any shifts or you know what I'm trying to say? Like, did
well, I
it
did. And I'll say, like, at the very beginning, when my guides came in and you talked about my light, what I present as,
yeah.
and you described it, I'll never forget it, because then I got that visual. And then from
Oh
then
wow.
on, I was able to tap into that, and even in all spaces, see myself as that light.
Oh wow.
Sometimes we want to dim our light. We've gone
Yeah.
through life like toning it down. I don't want to make anyone. I was that person I don't want to shine too bright and make
Yep.
anyone feel less than. So after that reading, I was just like, oh, hell no. I'm this big, beautiful, like Amazonian, like waterfall
Yes.
that has like golden diamond sparkles in it.
I love that.
So it's like, this is him. So when I walk in, this is really like
Oh,
coming
yeah.
in also to an environment, seeing myself that way and knowing that like I was just bringing light, bringing light. So that was a big one for me.
Oh, I love that. So it was like coming home. It
It
brought you
was.
back to who you
Yeah.
know that you truly are and brought you back that safety and comfort of being able to share that with
And
the world.
expresses that.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I love that. That's beautiful.
Thank
Oh.
you.
And the visuals, let me just say your descriptions are like really on point. That was beautiful. I can see it all as you're saying it. It's just like, oh my God, I want to go in that waterfall. And that is what it's like hanging out with you. You're like this bright, light, glittery, gold bejeweled waterfall. It's so nice. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you have wonderful energy. So okay. How would you say that you've learned anything impactful about yourself or about your journey or about anything through that Akashic
Well,
reading?
I was able to learn of more guides.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes we can be limiting with that.
Yes.
Sometimes there's also a program of like, yeah, it's the angels and it's, the ascended masters,
You
but that
changed your
can be
voice.
so vast.
Yes.
So when you start to like put like colors and
Yeah.
names,
Yeah.
when you're growing and you're receiving this information and you're remembering, like names are important. So
Yeah.
you also start to take what's coming through for you personally and sort of go back and look at other people that may have this particular guide.
Yeah.
And you can, delve into that a little bit more. It's really just these like series of openings,
Yeah.
so you're able to, because the Akashic does bring in a logical
Yeah.
explanation as
Yeah.
well,
For
which
sure.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love to go galactic, we both
Yes, we'll
do.
get deep and floaty all
Yeah,
day.
but also the stable logic of it's necessary.
Yeah, the grounded explanation in
Yes.
addition to all the galactic, cosmic, DNA activating, ancient knowledge that comes through.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
if we just go there, we can't hold that all
Yes.
the time.
So glad you said that.
So,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes. The grounded explanation really helps with being able to integrate and embody
it does.
the other higher level information that's coming through. And I don't even want to say higher level because there is no hierarchy to that. We were just talking about
We
hierarchy.
were.
There is no like above or better than or greater than or higher than. It all just is. And so it's nice to have that balance of this information is a little harder to grasp, and then this is the practical way that you can use it in your life. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I love that. I don't think I've ever talked about that. Thank you for bringing
You're
that up.
welcome.
That is very helpful. Because I think sometimes readings can just be so floaty, like these are your gifts and this is your frequency. And then you walk away and you're like, yeah, but what does
What
that mean
now?
for my life and my 9 to 5 job I'm over here suffering in?
Yes,
Like,
and it is. It's like, what now?
yeah.
It's kind of like going to a retreat.
Oh my gosh.
And then,
Yeah.
you're there and everything's built around that retreat and you have all of these experiences. Then you said you come home, you're still in a job that you necessarily don't love
Yep.
anymore. There's, you're a mom, you have a partner,
Yeah.
there's like grocery shopping.
Yep. They're screaming babies or
Yeah,
whining puppies
animals.
or traffic.
Exactly. And other
Yeah.
people who are very much not on this, not looking into anything like
Yeah.
this. So you have to learn to navigate it and be able to
Yeah.
navigate all those different things. And so
Yeah.
that does come along with keeping it more grounded. And I spent a lot of my first few years way out there
Yeah.
and floating all the time
Yeah.
and only to be brought fully home to the foundation is so important.
Oh my
That
gosh.
stable foundation, because then you build from that.
Yeah.
And I love that we mentioned the hierarchy thing, because it's not. We are just communicating with parts of us. So even when we give the guides names, or we give, any of these things names, it's in essence, it's all us, is
Yeah.
how I see it.
Yeah, for sure. I also agree with that viewpoint. They're all aspects of us, because if we go back to the concept of we're all one, we're all part of each other, we're all reflections of each other in our own little miniature realities that we're creating, that are meshing together with everybody else's reality. And so I think that is a wonderful point to bring forward, that even when you are finding out about your guides, and sometimes they won't offer names, and everybody's guides are different and have different vibes and come through differently and have different types of advice. But something that does often come through is that we want the names. They don't necessarily have the names.
Exactly.
Like,
We do.
but we are used to names. That's how we go through life. We have labels for everything. And that's just how we cognitively are able to organize our lives and our experiences. And so it makes sense that when we're like, oh my God, I want to meet my guides, I want to meet my spiritual team, that we're like, well, what are their names? And I feel like sometimes people can be disappointed, because they're like, well, what's their name? And a lot of the time their guides will be like, call me whatever you want. Just I want you to connect with me. I think the most across the board common thing is people's guides just being so happy that they're interested and they're ready for that connection. And then they're like, just connect with me, and you can call me whatever you want, or we'll figure it out. But just let's actually take the time to connect.
I agree, because that's the first step, is connecting and inviting them in and asking the questions.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
nurturing.
and nurturing. It's just like a friendship.
Yeah.
Just like our friendship. Like we nurture each other.
Yeah.
And you build this rapport with your guides.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just you have to ask. You do.
I forget that all the time.
Oh, that was the biggest thing for me for many years. And I'm just like, they're not communicating with me.
Yes. Just
Yes.
throw me information. You know what I need.
You're not ready for
Yeah.
that just yet, but just the logical questions,
Yeah.
like asking hey, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you're still figuring all of these out. And again, we could write books upon books and do episode after episode to just explain all of the components of these things.
Valid point. I love that we got onto a tangent about spirit guides. How to communicate with your spirit guides. I love that. So, okay, so let's pivot to the emotion code sessions. I know you had a very transformative first session where we didn't even finish the session because life started happening. And that was fine. That was fine, because what Sam did release, and I will leave it up to her whether or not she wants to talk about it or share. It's up to her. It's her journey. But even just releasing the 1 to 2 very prominently impactful things that you released created these shifts in your perspective in your life. Like, I remember us talking the next day or two, and you were like, oh my God, like it was wild. And it wasn't even a full session.
Oh, and it was so quick. Like, I know, sometimes it's like, oh, it may be 3 days, up to 3 days, or, this, it was rapid. And I mean, here's the thing. I had been holding those things, like those had come through my DNA.
Yeah.
They weren't mine.
They were inherited.
And they were like up to 18 generations.
Wild.
Yeah.
So old and heavy. It was weighing
Very
heavily on
heavy.
you and the way you were showing up in your life.
Yes. And we decided that you gave me some options, and you said, or we can work on releasing your heart wall. And I knew, yes, that's it. Because I had felt that pressure. I had continued to feel like where I'd stuffed it all back to the back, and how this old generational like program was affecting me in my life. And yes, I was just ready to crack those layers that were remaining open. And
Yes.
I know that it is the opening of the heart.
Oh my gosh.
That
Yeah.
that's the beauty. It's just not being in that rigidity and
Yeah.
the judgment of self and others.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it was very transformative. Another beautiful thing is that this goes to my two daughters and my grandson.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So
It
these
trickles
things,
down.
yes.
Yeah. Whatever
So
you
they
release.
and I'm telling you, I won't, you know, go into the details of their journey, but within that first session, and then
No
me
way.
taking a trip to Tennessee
Yeah.
and all of the things that transpired
Mm-hmm.
and what they then had to face. I kept
Oh,
hearing my
wow.
guides say, "Do you think you're just going to get handed the keys to the kingdom?"
Yep, that's a common message. We're not going to
So
give you the answers to the test.
that
Yeah,
was exactly, and they weren't going to be just, you know, they still had to go through their own
your
like
kids.
healings.
Yeah.
Yes. So regardless of how powerful it is that I'm doing this work for not only myself, but for them and for
Yeah.
these next generation,
Yeah.
it did, like you said, it trickled down to them. But also they had to look at their own
Mm-hmm.
stuff
It's
as
still on
well.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and it was, yeah, there was some big things that came down the pipeline, and they've just opened up into like the next version of
Oh,
themselves.
wow, that's
So
beautiful.
much power, so much, like their relationship has grown so much. I mean, they after, like, I'll just be candid, like after my session and some of the deep processes, um, they actually spoke some things, some truths to one another.
Oh, wow.
And so they weren't speaking for a few weeks, which
Oh,
as a mother, that was very hard. But
yeah.
yet, thank goodness I've been doing this work for many years. I was able to just hold that neutral space for them, only for them to come full circle and just
Oh, I
be an
love that.
appreciation, you
Oh,
know?
wow.
Yeah,
That's
because
so good.
the three of us have been creating this new dynamic in our family of
Oh, I love
being able
that.
to genuinely speak my truth to you and
Yeah.
you to me without the barriers that have been, or the secrets, or, oh, I'm scared to tell you how I feel
Yeah.
because you'll get hurt. And then it, you know, it had to go through a process, but
Yeah.
things are well within just like since March,
I love
so much, like
that.
years worth.
Holy crap. It just all came to a head and like
It
crumbled and
did.
is being rebuilt.
Yes, and that's
Oh, that's
exactly
so
how I
cool.
saw it, just crumbling off away from my heart. And then they had to go through their processes. And
Oh,
now it's like that
wow.
Trinity again, you know, the three
Yeah.
of us just coming back
That's
into
powerful.
that.
That's
Yes.
really powerful.
So I'm really excited. I've always wanted to have to create a new dynamic in
Yeah.
my family and be that strong matriarch for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
That's so cool. That makes me really happy
The
to
emotion
hear.
code is so powerful.
Yeah.
It's all powerful.
Yeah, it's all energy.
It is. And going back in the beginning when you were starting to introduce me, you spoke about like that discernment, like knowing that person who's a fit for
Hmm.
you.
Yes.
Maybe I may not be a fit for someone,
Yeah.
or maybe you're not a fit for, you know,
Yeah.
someone, but we know that with that discernment, that person, it's an alignment.
Yeah,
We
you'll
talk
feel
about
it.
this all the time. It's
Yes.
that alignment, and it's that you light up from the inside. You get blood lightning all over your arms and the back of
Oh
your
my God,
legs.
blood lightning. I've never heard it referred to as that. I love
Cool.
that.
It
I'm
really
using that.
resonates. Please do.
Blood lightning.
I
Like
love how we
goosebumps.
can
Like,
find out these things. And like my friend taught me, instead of being, I was going, I'm an empath, I'm just an empath, I feel
uh,
everything.
the
And so
victim
she
mindset.
said, no, how about we're compassionate witnesses?
Love that
And
so
so with
much.
the compassionate witness, yes, you are witnessing, but you don't take on. And so
Yes.
I started to incorporate that in.
Yeah, I got
And
that from you.
it's, yeah. And doesn't it change?
Oh my gosh. I thought I had to take on what other people were feeling and be in it with them in order to like be empathetic and compassionate, like which was coming from my own trauma of like, let me take care of you, which is almost disrespectful because it's like, oh, I don't think you can do it yourself. I'm going to do it for you. And then I'm
Yes.
robbing you of that growth that you need to go through to get to that next level.
Yeah. And
Like,
you do have to go through that growth. Like we are constantly cracking ourselves open over and over again. And I mean, this is our life's work.
yeah.
We
Oh,
talked about
yes.
that, our soul work. And, you know, the soul is just cultivating that remembrance, that coming back, finding your true self for the first
Yes.
time in your life, you know, and then just continuing to cultivate that love
Yeah.
between you and your true self. And a lot of times, like, you know, in the beginning, I would say, oh, my higher self, I'm connecting. And then that came to a point where I said, you know what? No, that's still a hierarchy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still putting something
Yeah.
as it's above me. And
Yeah.
so I started saying my whole self.
I love that.
So it just whole encompasses the whole.
Your whole self.
So I
Yeah,
love
because when you
it
are talking to your whole self, it's just you communicating with
with
you.
you.
It's just another aspect of you, and you're going inside of you to do it. I love that so much. And Sam is really great about the etymology. It's such a weird word for me to say, but the way that words are put together and their meanings. And I love talking to her because she's so conscious of the words that she uses. And the whole self concept is beautiful because when we're saying higher self, I immediately, just with the word higher, picture like my soul self above me, like up
Yes.
there in above me in the etheric realm, out there when it's actually part of me. It's me. We have so much brain capacity that we are not using. We have so much energy and things happening within and right outside of our bodies that we just are not constantly 100% aware of. And so I love that whole self concept to just embody that whole
I
self.
love that too. It feels, it's
It
that
feels good.
alignment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It just
Yeah,
feels
that
right in the
resonates.
body, you know? So.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna try to remember. I feel like I'm gonna say higher self because I'm so used to saying it, but I'm gonna try to bring it
So
back.
that it's like anything else. You will maybe say higher self, but then that's going, the fact that we're sitting here having this conversation,
Yeah,
you're gonna start saying whole
I
self.
am, man.
I know you are. I know you.
I'm gonna say it. I love it. This is so much fun.
This is, we knew it was gonna be
We did.
fun.
We did. Have you, can you think of, and I'm putting you on the spot right now, can you think of any aha moments? Like, I want to hear about a time in your spiritual journey where like you were just, it blew your mind. Like everything changed because you of something you learned where you're just like, what? What?
Oh, which one? Let's see. Oh,
I'll
goodness.
take two. I'll take two.
Okay. Are we going to the plant medicine
Yeah, let's
level?
go. Let's go.
So yeah, I mean, there's been so many things. So this has been, obviously you hear people, oh, I've been on my journey my whole life, because we have.
Yeah.
Like all of the things have been leading us back home to ourselves.
Oh, I love that.
So after Kundalini and, you know, yoga and breath and meditation, I was moved into a space of the plant medicine started speaking to me, and I started just putting that intention out there. And so I would say that my first experience with ayahuasca was, and I'm not endorsing this,
Yeah.
plant medicine is not for everyone.
Yeah.
You, when things just kind of naturally fall into your lap, after you've been calling them in, then
Yeah.
that's your sign that it's
Yes.
for you. And I just was shown during that ceremony, I was shown what I looked like as my truest, all of
Oh,
my
wow.
parts in the connection with the earth and how we are the earth. So you talk about
I
we
love
are
it.
one.
Yeah.
So yes, that much is true. Like this big, like if you would say source, and then we're all just pieces of that, but we all fit back together. It's still like a one mind and being shown that, and we're not bound. We're not imprisoned here. We're not bound to anything. We just, you hear a lot of people say, human, the human doing, and like,
Yeah.
because we come in, it's kind of like we're born into this culture, and we start to learn things at a very young age, and then we start to mimic our parents, and
Yeah.
we start to, we've been sold the American dream and all of the little
Yeah.
sugar and spice that goes on top of that, and it's just really coming back full circle to just smashing that and just breaking it all apart only to bring it back together.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, that
That's a
was my
theme.
big aha. And there's been many. I mean, with our Akashic reading, there were many ahas. Like I said, there was a new level of confidence that
Yeah.
came
I
in.
love that
Yes,
aspect.
there was. And just instead of like saying, oh, well, why am I not channeling in this way? Or why it doesn't look like that? Or
Yeah.
I was able to realize I've been channeling.
Yeah.
I've
We all
been,
do.
yes, we do. It just doesn't look like the same. We all
Yes.
do it in our own way.
Exactly, which is beautiful.
It is that, and it's, so there was it was just seeing how this all fits together and how we really do choose our family
Yeah.
and how we choose all these things. We sign up for these things.
Yeah.
And to be able, the biggest aha moment of all is to see that there are no victims here.
No,
We,
it's a choice.
it's a choice. So what are you going to choose?
I love that. I love it. That was so good. What are you going to choose? What are we choosing? And we get to choose moment to moment.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's natural to, if you're used to being taught that you are a victim and you have been indoctrinated into a system that makes you a victim and just a hamster on a wheel, then it's something that you have to find your way out of. You have to choose to want to explore other avenues, and then you have to pull back the layers of having that belief system and then integrate a new belief system by choosing to make different choices, choosing your thoughts, choosing your habits from day to day, choosing how you're showing up in your life, in your relationships, how you're showing up for yourself, like diving into a spiritual journey, which,
Absolutely. The self-care.
yeah,
It's just not feeling selfish. Self-care is everything. How
oh
can
my gosh.
we feed the people we love if we're not taking care of self?
Yeah.
It's just so important. It's one of the first things that you break away from that guilt and you
Yes.
realize how amazing you feel by putting yourself first, and then
Yeah.
everything just flows out the way it needs to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Makes it
so
easier.
many beautiful parts to this.
Yes. We could go all day.
Oh yeah,
We
we
could
could
go all
actually.
day. I love that you brought self-care into it. That's something I'm not gonna, that's something that I'm actively incorporating, trying to choose my words. I'm actively being more mindful of the amount of self-care that I need and prioritizing that. And again, it goes back to making the choices to let go of my previous idea of I don't need self-care. I'm fine as long as everybody else is fine. That was my
Yes.
belief. I'm going to take care of everybody else because if you guys are good and we don't have conflicts and you feel good and you're happy, then I can relax. But then I wasn't
You weren't
relaxed.
relaxed because you were taking it all on. And
Exactly.
same. I was like the martyr of my
Yes.
family, which is a very, common theme
Yeah.
for a lot of us who
Yeah.
have, highly sensitive people.
Yes.
We have taken on the things of our families and friends. And yeah, the self-care is just, it's self-love.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I love that. Let's just call it self-love.
let's do
'Cause
hashtag
hash
self-love.
because anything that you're doing out of love for yourself is self-care.
Yes.
And I've made a few posts lately and I've listed like this and this could be self-care and this, but honestly, if cleaning the bathroom makes you super happy, that can be self-care. Having a clean
can.
environment. Like it doesn't have to be going for a spa day and hanging out on the beach. Like self-care can be hugging a squishmallow
I
for
love that
five
too,
minutes.
Ashley. I love that you're bringing it in like that because it is like maybe you're sitting there in a meditative state doing the dishes.
Yes,
It's like
love that.
bringing the self-care and the self-love into every component of your life.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So
Yes, that. I don't have words for a minute because I'm just like, oh my God, I love that. I need to do that. Oh, makes me a little bit emotional. Like, yeah, we get to choose how we're living our life from moment to moment. And our perspective is our choice. It is not something that we are just stuck with. You can always change your perspective. You can always shift your beliefs, shift your thoughts, shift your habits. You can shift everything.
you can always change your life.
Yeah.
Every day I get up and I go outside and with the sunrise, I mean, even in the winter, I do this and I place my feet on the earth.
Oof.
So I ground first thing into the energy.
Yeah.
And so I noticed like after doing that and doing these self-care practices, you start to come back online with your natural
Oh,
cycles.
yeah.
So you do rise with the sun. Like we go throughout, if you think about the path of the sun, we rise up with the sun and then we go about our day and we're following that trajectory of the sun.
Oh my
And
gosh,
then
yeah.
at night, like the sun goes to the underworld, we go to dream.
I love
So,
that.
and then we rise back up and like each day is a brand new start.
Yeah, and we get to choose.
We get to choose.
I love that. Love it. Ah, okay. We'll be here all day doing this, so we can rabbit hole like nobody's business.
Hour, 7 hours, that last time.
3 hours later. Okay, so Sam, yeah, I did not talk about all of the things you do, so this is your opportunity for a shameless plug because you
Oh,
do
wow.
all kinds of really cool stuff. So can you share some of the things that
Yes.
you
The
offer?
things that I'm focusing on right now, I do one-on-one sessions. They're, I would say, intuitive sessions. There's sometimes energy work, sound. I've been playing around with tuning forks a lot. I love to bring sound in as a component
Yes.
in all the things. So I love to bring in the smells,
Yes.
the sound, and the touch. So I sort of start getting a reading on like the person, and
Mhm.
then I know at that point what I'm going to do in a session.
Oh, wow.
So I mainly focus on
That's
one-on-one
cool.
sessions. I'm doing a lot of grid work with the land. I work with the
Oh, yes.
land. I will actually also do personal like visits to your home and do clearings.
Oh, that's
Sometimes there's
awesome.
things that happen in our homes, or maybe we're starting on this journey and we're becoming more sensitive to our environment. There's
Yes.
a lot of things. And so as you're restarting, it's a good idea to just do an overall flush of your home.
Oh,
So I do that as well. And just I spend a lot of time. My main thing is just spending so much time in nature
yeah.
and like placing my body on the earth so that I can hold these. I teach Reiki 1 and 2, and master.
She's
And I'm just
amazing.
exploring other things. It's just a constant,
Yeah.
you're unfurling like the
Yeah.
rose, like your heart. You're just
Yes.
constantly bringing new things in.
And you're
And
also a manifesting generator,
yes, I
like
am.
myself. So she's a multi-passionate person, and you just showed that
Like
with
we were
many
like the
interests.
wise old sage.
I love it. So we're in Fayetteville, North Carolina right now. So if you're in the Fayetteville area and you're interested in Sam's services, do you do any online services?
I am open to online.
Okay.
My website is being built right now.
Yes, it's so exciting.
Yes, so as soon as that's up and running, I have always been I'm working and moving at my own pace.
Yeah.
Maybe like back in the day, I would say I'm a little bit of a late bloomer.
No
So
judgment.
I literally have just compiled so much experience and data.
Yes.
And so now I'm
You're ready.
ready to put that all together. And so my website is Light Activator.
Love it. It will be in the show notes.
Yes. And as soon as that's up and running, we'll do an update
Okay, I
on
love
that.
that. Yes, you can come back and
Yes.
let us know
See what's
what's
going
going
on.
on. I love that. And how can we find you or get in touch with you right now?
Okay, my handle on Instagram is Light Activator at Light Activator, and that's LIGHT underscore activator, ACTIVATOR. And you can catch me at Sam dot light activator 777 at gmail.com.
Awesome. And again, that information will all be in the show notes if you want to contact Sam. She is an amazing soul. She's so sweet. It feels like sunshine when you're in her presence. It's so nice. Sam,
Thank you, Ashley.
thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I want to cry a little bit. I love you so much.
Love
It's
you
so
so
nice to
much.
connect.
It is such an honor. It's just natural. We've done this so many lifetimes together.
We have.
I love you.
I love you. And until next time, thank you for tuning in and listening to this episode. Until next time, I'll see you next time.